Chief Tennyson?
Chief Junlei Tennyson. She runs the ship. Does a real great job of it, too. Her family's worked on it for, gosh, since it was built, I think. Back before the crossing.
Ja, nice.
What's she like? Is she a good boss?
Good as she can be, I guess. What with all the troubles Groundbreaker's facing. She could stand to lighten up, I suppose. But she tries her best to do right by folks, and that's what matters.
Das Kommando über so ein gewaltiges Schiff wie die Groundbreaker zu haben, muss mit vielen Herausforderungen verbunden sein.
Sure is, but she makes it look easy. She's real competent, our chief, even if she ain't real friendly.
Das kannst du mir über Sublight Salvage etwas sagen.
They're run by Miss Hagen. Half the tramp captains and contractors in the system have worked for her. I ought to warn you straight off. Scuttlebutt says some of the jobs they do aren't exactly above board. Downright anti-business, if you catch my meaning.
Yes.
Let's say there's been times when I heard somebody needed a thing, and somebody else had such a thing, but they weren't inclined to sell. Now let's say the one who had the thing suddenly found theirs missing, and the one who needed got one. If anyone asks, Sublight says it got salvaged from an old wreck. Case closed. If anybody could prove them criminals, the board would have put their foot down a long time past. They always got, what do they call it? Deniability? Something gets nicked or someone turns up dead, Sublight says, hey, independent contractor, not our responsibility. But everyone knows what they're doing. Against is a strong word. Let's say that if you need something the board ain't inclined to sell, you might look to Sublight to get it. You might pay Sublight a shitload of bits for it, but that money gets passed on to their contractors, so in the end, it's still business.
You must admit, there is a beauty to the order of it. Everything operates within the constraints of the grand plan, even organized crime.
People do what they gotta to get by.
Wie OnlyFans-Accounts zu erstellen.
Oh, sure, sorry. Gets a mite boring at this desk, you know. Then I get to chatting too much, and Commandant Sonia's got to reprimand me again, and... Oops, doing it again. Sorry.
Ach, kein Ding, bro.
Captain's real understanding.
Can't speak for the captain, but I'm used to listening to folks drone on about their pointless, depressing lives.
Awful generous of you, listening to me like this.
Macht es ja was aus, wenn ich dir ein paar Fragen stelle?
That's what...
Ihr habt da drin bestimmt Schmuggelware aus dem ganzen System, richtig?
Sure, and stuff from outside the system too, off the interstellar freighters. That's why we also have so many armed Mardettes on duty here.
Es wäre, wenn manche dieser Waren an mir gehören würden und ich sie zurückhaben wollte.
That'd be awful weird. On account of you should be locked up back here too then. Alright.
Docken viele Frachter hier an, muss ziemlich hektisch sein.
Less than there used to be. Fewer freighters passing through these days. I spend some shifts just listening to the wireless.
Warum kommen nicht mehr viele Frachter hierher? Irgendwas Interessantes gehört?
There's been a whole heap of good advertisements lately. Sometimes I tune in just for those.
Na gut. Wir speichern hier kurz mal zwischen und schauen dann, ob wir irgendwo an die Information kommen. Oder an das Sicherheitssystem gelangen. Huh?
Move along.
Move along. Reifen stehlen.
There it is. Just yank the drive and I'll do the rest.
Shh.
Modifiziertes Pistole, Joch, Axt, Metallreifen groß, Gebetsperlen. Sublight, Schlägerei, Haufer und Schiff.
Now that we have the data cartridge, I can finally find out where that scholar I'm looking for ended up.
Kommt raus, meine Friends. Wir müssen hier ein bisschen unauffällig bleiben. Da hinten ist Gladys. Die ist näher dran an uns, also reden wir erstmal zu ihr. Aber es ist schön, mal in einer freundlichen Umgebung zu sein hier. What the?
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. The board would like to remind spacers and other travelers that passage to Monarch is restricted for your protection. Canyons of acid and sulfur rain are the least of the horrors plaguing the surface of Monarch. Anarchists live as one with the animals, lawless, savage, and unemployed. The board's embargo ensures that...
Ein Propagandafilmchen. Boah. Das sieht echt geil aus.
Try not to be distracted by the glare of the adverts. Lots of unsavory types about.
Pea-free nuts, Rizzo's mock apple cider. A hard
Okay,
cider for a
Werbedrohne.
hard life.
79 Meter, 29 Meter. Die Gladys gewinnt.
Can we rent an upstairs room?
How do you do? And welcome to the Rest and Go. We used to be the Go and Rest, but folks never knew when to leave. Sorry. Business has been slow. Anything to occupy the time.
Ich suche nach Gladys.
Oh, you can't miss her. Right behind you, number 2. First unit on the left, or second unit from the right, depending on which direction you count from.
Okay, cool. Ist das Leben so auf der Groundbreaker?
Fine, as long as the board keeps its grubby mitts to itself. Chief Tennyson holds the ship together, the Promenade holds our economy together, and Sublight is the shoddy jewel in our rusty old crown.
Crown. Wie hält sich die Groundbreaker den Vorstand vom Hals?
Our Chief Tennyson has an independent streak, same as her mother and grandmother who rode this ship on the crossing. There's a reason the board's embassy is a glorified shoebox. While Junlei Tennyson lives and breathes, Groundbreaker remains free.
Du hast Sublight erwähnt.
Our local garbage collectors. That Lilia Hagen never met a debris field she didn't like. She freely admits she planted her roots in Groundbreaker to escape board oversight. But I think there's more to it. She's unusual in the head, that one.
Machst du auch Geschäfte mit den Händlern an der Promenade?
Of course. Most of our supplies come and go through merchants. Company ships and salvage runs are the only traffic we tend to get. I try and steer clear of that creepy fellow in the moon mask. If there's a cost to being a company man, he paid it in spades.
Bin schon weg. Müll. Was man nicht alles so hier im Müll findet. Spacer. Toiletten, Duschen.
I've seen you limping a bit. You all right, Mr. Vicar? Need us to slow down?
What are you implying? I am perfectly fit. My knee is just acting up.
Pinner-Tagebuch. Habe auf 2 Konzernfrachtern gearbeitet, bevor ich hier gestrandet bin. Jeder hat mich jammern gehört, keiner hat mir zugehört. Für die bin ich bloß Hintergrundstrahlung. War nicht meine Schuld, dass der Captain früher los wollte. War nicht meine Schuld, dass keiner das Mannschaftslog angeguckt hatte. War nicht meine Schuld, dass sie mich einfach so ersetzt haben. Jetzt sitze ich hier im Dreck, ohne Bits und ohne Bett. Nicht anders als der restliche Groundbreaker-Müll hier. So lebe ich. Und wenn mich keiner in eine Mannschaft aufnimmt, sterbe ich so auch.
There's no shame in being older, Mr. Vicker. Don't worry. The captain and I'll take care of you.
I need neither your advice nor your pity, young lady.
Ja, ich gehe erstmal zurück hier. Bevor ich in den Untiefen des Schiffs rumfleuche. Ephraim Maywood. Der alte F. Ein Safe. Ich rede noch mal mit Gladys kurz.
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a poor old woman's door. You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookies are?
Cookies!
Made without a single natural ingredient. Or an oven. Just like store-bought.
Nice. Zeig mal, was du das im Angebot hast. Phineas hat mich geschickt. Er meinte, du könntest mir einen Navigationsschlüssel für Stellar Bay verkaufen.
Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction.
Ist klar.
Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being, at least.
Na, das hoffe ich doch.
I only have the one nav key. And they're hard to come by these days. It won't be cheap. If you find yourself lacking in the bits, I might have an opportunity you'd be interested in.
Ja. 10.000 Bits, ey. Sag mir etwas mehr über diese Geschäftsgelegenheit. Über mein Prachtstück hat sich noch niemand beschwert.
You've certainly been blessed with an abundance of sass, haven't you? But it's your interstellar currency I'm interested in, not your nethers.
Muss man mal versuchen. Sag mir mehr über diese Geschäftsgelegenheit.
Well, I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Might be this could help out the Groundbreaker, as well as earn some bits. But if you've got qualms...
Lass mal hören.
Do you know Edna, over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. On occasion, she'll pass along transmissions I might find interesting. She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the Groundbreaker's comm array. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway. And Auntie Cleo abandoned that place years ago.
Wann wurde Roseway aufgegeben?
Can't say I know for sure. Maybe it never really was.
Sounds like someone poking into somewhere they shouldn't be got into a spot of trouble.
Comm centers don't operate themselves, Captain. Someone had to have sent that distress call manually.
Those corps are cleverer than all get out. Might have been a ruse to keep the rest of the board from sniffing around.
Möglich. Ich bin dabei.
You've got an ear for intrigue and a nose for bits. I like that. Here's a copy of the SOS recording, complete with the coordinates. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. Corporate bigwigs will pay top bit for inside information on their competitors. The more we got the corps fighting each other, the less time they got to meddle in our affairs.